Good morning. We'll call the September 25th DRC meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Community Development is present. Police,
Mike McKinley.
Public Services,
Richard's here. Good morning.
Fire,
Jeremy Holderfield.
Building is not present. We have two special events. Carolyn Ray with Recreation is here. The first one is Hope Community Center.
John's here. He must be late. I talked to him earlier.
Okay, the first event is for Saturday, October 12th by the Hope Center. They're looking to do an event called Meet in the Middle. It is an all-day event from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. at Kitland Nelson Park. This is their first time doing this event. They're looking at something different about this event. They're looking at barricading off Kit land and having like entry points. They are also estimating 5,000 people. I think that's a little bit high, but I will send over a form for off-duty if you deem that they would need to be required. But they are just going to have, basically it's looking to have like a community event, concerts, speeches, activities for children, and other vendors will be set up. So just sharing educational information.
I'm sorry, I was reading a text I got yesterday about another event they want to hold, and I was going to ask you about that. You said they're going to block off what?
The park, they want to barricade the entire park in to have an entry point.
How are they going to block off the entire park?
They mentioned barricades because we told them it's very difficult and typically events at Kitland can't do that, but they're looking at barricading around the entire park and then having an entry point from Edwards Field.
Based on that, and if they are truly estimating 5,000, I think we're going to need to talk to them about off-duty.
Okay.
I think we can ask them for the configuration of the entrance and the barricades, and just to try to get them to make sure they understand the price of renting that and having somebody come set it up and take it down. I mean, that could be, I don't know how many thousands.
Yeah,
of
we
dollars.
talked to them about that and let them know that historically we've had like one group do it. It's really impossible to do it because it's public park splash pad is going to still be open, which we told them it had to remain open. So yeah, it's very expensive. We gave them all that information and they're still looking at getting.
Are they charging? What's the purpose
Yeah.
of barricading?
Yeah. I believe they're
So
charging.
they're going to have a barricade that people can't step over. So 4 foot minimum.
Yeah, like the bicycle barricades. So I'll touch base with them
That's not
again.
a barricade that somebody can't step over. It'd have to be something probably 4 foot or
Yeah.
higher for somebody not, to actually be a deterrent and not have to deal with people wanting to attend or not wanting to attend but go to the park.
Yeah, especially because they'll have to set them up like Friday because they're probably not going to set them, be able to set them up on Saturday. Typically, the rental companies don't do that. So
I'm going to throw this out there. It's a public park.
mm-hmm.
Can we close it to the public legally? It's something you might want to check with the attorney with.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the 12th is, just Carolyn, I'm sorry.
It's
but
close.
The 12th is close.
It's close,
I think
right.
We need to make sure that we know where the
Yes.
fences go in and where fire trucks can come and go, and
Yes.
that we've cleared with the attorney. Like,
Yeah.
we cleared with the attorney. We're allowed to, barricade a park.
I mean, it's our park. We probably are, but I think we should check and make sure because technically you're leaving part of it open
Mm-hmm.
for the splash pad.
Right.
What's going to prevent the people going to the splash pad from wandering through their event? I mean, that's
Right.
something we're not getting involved in controlling, and we're not going to, obviously, I don't think we're going to isolate the splash pad with some kind of barrier so that they can't go from the splash pad into the rest of the park.
And we had discussions and we told them all of that because it is public park and people could be there and even beforehand. And this group had a lot of confusion. They didn't want to hear what we had to say. So I will relay this back because it is so close. That was one of our concerns. They kind of heat and hawed about exactly what they wanted to do. I just don't think it's very realistic for a couple of the things on here, but I definitely will relay it back and let them
Are
know.
they charging for parking, and who's handling their parking?
So it actually says in here that they're not charging for admission. So I don't know. I think I don't know if it's a security thing or just to have a controlled environment, why they want fencing, but they did indicate that.
Okay.
They've got a registration tent kind of by the splash pad, but that becomes like the problem, like you said, like so they're going to be allowing splash pad people in. That just becomes a little bit dicey.
I think would be a benefit. I mean, obviously, if they want to have their event, we want to try to help them have a successful event in the city. So I think it'd be beneficial to all parties if you scheduled a meeting with police,
Okay.
fire, them, and Parks and Rec, so that we can try to come to some kind of consensus on how it should be run, so that it's safe for everybody, and that we can, if they want to continue with the event, we can try to make it as successful as we can from their perspective.
Okay.
So based on that, it sounds like DRC won't move forward until
Yeah.
there's a meeting with police.
We'll bring
and
it back.
on that one. All right, you want to talk about the next one?
The next event is the Apopka Christmas Parade with the Foliage Sortoma Club of Apopka, Saturday, December 14th. They have provided all their information 10 a.m. until roughly 12 noon, about aiming for 100 entries. We, of course, have APD that comes in is early, comes to the meeting, gets all the information, and then we will bring this back for council as far as road closure.
Any questions?
I don't have anything. Thank
All
you.
right, community development recommends approval of police. No further.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Public services.
I don't have anything on this, Bobby, and I realize my next comment is on the agenda that we already said needed to come back to DRC. But I'm not sure it definitely needs to come back to DRC if you're going to have a meeting with Parks and Police and Fire. And I mean, yeah, I can email my consensus with whatever they decide. So
Okay.
just as a formality. But if Bobby wants to bring it back, I'm okay with that. I just, for advertising and stuff, that cuts it close. But I don't have anything on this item. Thank you.
Fire. All right. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Carolyn,
Next
can I
item.
ask you one more quick question? I'm sorry.
Yes.
They also want to hold a vigil in front of City Hall on, what day is it? October 7th.
Okay.
Do they need a permit for that? I know they've held some demonstrations or marches from Kitlin Nelson Park to City Hall, but this sounds like, and I have not spoken to them yet, they want to organize a vigil in front of City Hall for the DACA.
I think they've done something like this before, and I think we did have them do a permit just so everyone was aware of what was going on. Because it's like a established event and everyone's gonna be meeting if they're setting anything up or whatever. I have not heard of it. So do you have a point of contact for that?
It's Felipe.
It's who?
Felipe, their director for the Hope Community Center.
Okay.
I can't pronounce his last name. Laza Ballot, something.
Which
to that
is a
effect.
different contact than this one, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I mean, if you hear from them or have their information, you can definitely send it. If you guys recommend that we put it through DRC, we can have them do an event permit, and we'll have to go next week.
I'll
then.
reach out to him and see what their intent is, and
Okay.
reach back out to you and see if
Okay.
they need a permit or what they need to do.
Perfect. Thanks.
Next item is Mateos ADU build special exception first submittal. Amir Hamza is the project manager.
Good morning, everyone. So this is a proposed ADU in a lot that is zoned MUD, mixed use downtown, and has a future land use of residential low. So in the MUD, ADU is allowed as long as it's 500 square feet or below. And the applicant is in attendance today and if any DRC members have any other questions or applicant has any concerns.
Any questions for Amir or for the applicant?
I'll just reiterate my question that I had in OpenGov, and if we allow this, we set a precedent for everybody around them.
Well, I mean, it's permitted under the land development code and the MUD zoning.
So the setbacks are allowed where he's at.
Yeah, it's just 5 feet away from the side and rear property lines, and it's 500 square feet or below. It's allowed in the MUD zoning.
Okay, then maybe I'm confused. What are we approving?
Accessory dwelling unit.
And that's
So
allowed.
mother-in-law suite, I'm sorry.
Like a mother-in-law
that.
suite, but out like not attached to the principal structure.
And that's allowed.
That's
the
allowed in the
zoning?
MUD zoning as long as it's 500 square feet or below, and it meets setback
And
requirements.
chief, it's allowed with a special exception that
Yeah.
has to be granted by the planning commission. So it's a case by case. So there's no precedence that's set. So the planning commission considers all the factors relevant to each circumstance.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll go around. Community development has no further questions or comments. This item will be scheduled for planning commission when, Amir?
It's gonna be for November.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Police,
I don't have anything else, thank you.
public services.
Let me just ask one question, and since I'm not going to become a planner and do this on the side, but what, just so maybe it catches my attention, what's the zoning and land use that allows them to do this? I'm
It's
sorry.
a mixed use downtown if it's 500 square feet and below, and then if you have a 1 acre lot or above, an RSF 1B will allow it.
Okay.
Now, is this gonna have to connect into sewer and water and everything, or?
Yeah, because it's an accessory dwelling unit. It's like it's kind of like its own separate unit, but it can't be rented out. It can't be used as an Airbnb. It can only a family member of the property owner can live on the premise.
The land development code says that it can only be a family member?
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
Fire.
Have we
Public
double checked that there's not a septic on this site that we would be exacerbating or adding flow to? It may be an opportunity to switch them to public sanitary sewer if they're on septic, and I just don't know whether they're on septic or not. Have we asked that?
No, to my knowledge, I would not know. Yeah, you could come up and comment. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like these are more questions appropriate for the applicant that you're asking.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So yeah, there's no septic, we're on sewer.
So you're already on city sewer and water.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Fire.
No comments.
Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Okay. We're going to shift the agenda around just a little bit because Amir has an appointment. The next item is the Hammock at Rock Springs plat, second submittal. And Amir, if you want to go over that one real quick.
Sure. So this is a plat for 19 lots. It's currently zoned PD and has a future land use of residential low suburban. It's on Rocks. It's accesses from Rock Springs Road. And if applicant is here for any further comments and questions, if you'd like to come up, or if DRC members have any additional questions.
Any questions?
Can you bring this up on the map? I don't remember where it's at.
I'm trying to. The computer's crashing. It's right by Rock Springs Elementary School.
Across the street from Rock
Right.
Springs?
It's on the west side of Rock
West
Springs.
side. Here, I'll show you real quick. It's been under construction for probably about 8 years or so. It is
That one, yeah.
this
So,
piece right here. It
Oh
says
yeah, they
Roseland
cleared
Court.
it 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. It's received Development Review Committee approval for construction plans years back. Now they're just platting it. They have to.
Is that the one where they've already put the streets in?
I'm sorry?
Is that the one that they put the streets in recently?
They just put a street in there, yes.
So they've got the infrastructure built in there.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Sir, if you have questions, they need
Yeah.
to come to so we can get things on the record. Okay.
If you have clarification for us, come on up and let us know. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, we need to get your comments on the record for the applicant.
Are we in the right spot?
yeah, now we are. If you could come up and comment.
Yeah.
Just go down a little bit.
Down.
On the other way. Yeah, now we are correct.
And are you the developer?
I represent the developer, yes.
Okay.
And this plat has been approved back in.
Can you please speak into the microphone?
Sorry, yeah. This plat has been approved in 2019. My group acquired from the previous owner, and it expired just 1 year. So we are reapplying for the same thing. So there is no news since the first approval back in 2019.
This is the one we extended because of COVID, right? Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Police, public services, any comments?
I don't have anything else. Thanks.
Fire
No comments.
and building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Amir. Next item is the Ridge PD Parcel 6 construction plan. Gene is the project manager.
Good morning. This is the construction site plan for Ridge PD parcel. It's parcel 6, actually. You saw the MDP a while back that included a proposal of automotive service station up on the north, right in the corner of Boy Scout and Binion. But this 6C is actually referring to the one south of it. It touches, is it Bronson Way, the Spine Road? Bronson Drive, sorry, Bronson Drive, and east of Binion. And it's for 4 buildings. I think at the MDP, the proposal was for industrial flex use. I did ask for some housekeeping items on planning's end that included a narrative of the project scope, just so we have a clarification on the construction site plan for this one. It doesn't look like I got really comments from all DRC members. Richard, looks like Jen Gilliam is good with everything. She had no comments on it. And I got no additional comments from public service. So the applicant has any questions or concerns?
Any
You try
questions,
to
comments
address-
for the applicant, or would you like to speak?
Good morning, everybody. Jimmy Hoffman with VHB. Yeah, so just for clarification, the MDP that came through was for the entire parcel, parcel 6C, and included the out parcel that you can see kind of north of the, nestled in the L, if you will, of the buildings. So that is a plan for a gas station site. That was part of the MDP as that approval. The scope that we'll clarify on the cover sheet as requested by planning is this project's going to entail the master infrastructure for everything you see shaded, basically, plus buildings 1 through 4. So they're going to construct those office warehouse buildings, all the site work infrastructure, spine roads, and we will have utilities stubbed out to the out parcel, but there's no development, no construction proposed on that out parcel at this time. The pond on the north side, adjacent to Boy Scout Road, that's already been constructed as part of the Ridge Parcel 6 apartments, which are immediately to the east of this. Everything we're proposing is consistent with the MDP, just the final construction infrastructure details. So, Gene, I think you had 2 pretty easy questions, so we'll add that narrative to the cover sheet for you. The arbor permit was issued together with parcel 6 apartments because this area was cleared, mass graded, and the pond constructed together with the apartments. And then, Gene, you had a comment where the street frontage is 300 feet or greater. Sign area shall not exceed 60 square feet in area for multiple occupancy development. I just want to clarify, sorry, also you note that the actual signs to be approved during building permit review, which we understand we're fine with. Is the 60 square feet per sign, like, 2-sided sign, you'd add up both sides, or is it total for, because I think there's a couple.
No, for each sign,
Okay,
for each
got it.
secondary signage.
Because we do have like primary signage for the development up in the northwest
Right here.
corner. Yep. And that's more for like the ridge, because this is the gateway into the PD from Binion Road. And then there's a few smaller monument signs kind of near the entrances that are more intended for kind of tenant level stuff. Okay.
I just wanted to make it clear for the record that approval of this CSP doesn't constitute like straight approval of your signage.
Understood. Yeah, the
Okay.
signage in there is kind of conceptual, but we understand there's always a separate building permit required for the actual sign, and it'll go through that process. So with that, if there's any other questions from staff, we're happy to address.
Tell me about the turn lanes. Are those proposed turn lanes that I see?
So those are proposed turn lanes. Those are for the existing condition. We understand the city has been working with CFX on number one, developers work with the city on the right of way acquisition by the city, which has been complete at this time. The CFX plans, we've been sharing files and working with the city and their staff to improve the intersection there based on their final interchange. But these turn lanes are designed to work until such time as that happens. A lot of this area will be overlapped with the future CFX scope, but that is being designed by their team, and they have all of our files. We've shared all those all the way up to Bronson Lake Drive to the east of here.
Okay, I guess the point, I guess where I'm kind of going, and maybe it's more internal issues than not, is that since the transportation coordinator's not here, I've not been assigned to, evaluate turn lanes and need for turn lanes and whatever. So if it comes to city council and they say, did staff look at turn lanes? The answer is no, and we should have. So I guess
Well, you
I'm
can
not
look
sure.
at them or
And
not, but our CSP is in, and we're seeking approval to move forward to construction. So we've provided all the design information. If there's anybody else that needs to look at them, we're happy to forward that information. But
what I'm telling you though is that you haven't gotten my attention until now, and the city has not, as far as I know, had the city's a traffic engineer representing the city evaluate your need or not need or traffic counts and all that related to your development. And I think that needs to happen before DRC approves it and you move forward. I realize it doesn't need to go back to city council because it's a construction site plan, but I'm not comfortable voting for it until that happens. And I haven't necessarily been specifically assigned the duty to have that evaluation done, and I don't think it's been done. So I think it needs to be done, and maybe we need to go to Jacob and ask him who needs to do it. But I don't think we can just skip it because the center, unless Gene says it's part of the interchange and all that, and then I'm completely fine with it.
So
If
that-
some-
No, the interchange is still in design, 60%. But I will tell you that our DRC distribution, we've added our consultant, Diana, in our distribution email. I haven't received a response from her. She usually responds to me with comments. So I'll double check with her if she has any comments on it, because she's also involved with the CFX design.
Okay,
the
good. Yeah,
review.
if Diane's fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm doing that on a lot of things right
Okay.
now, and I trust Diana. I've
We
known
will
her for 30
probably
years.
ask then,
So
if anything, just to assuage his concerns for like is there an auto turn in this CSP? I couldn't recall. We'll probably ask for an auto turn if it's not already. By the
we always do a
development.
turn.
Yeah.
Jeremy wouldn't let us get through. I believe it was done with the MDP, but so yeah, Richard, we understand that with city staff, recent changes and stuff, that it's an item. And I agree. We would want the city to review it. I would just ask, how do we make sure that review happens? And if it's an offline confirmation from the city's consultant that's engaged on these matters to confirm if they have any issues before we resubmit, we just want to get that feedback because we've gone through the process, we've submitted, so we don't want to. I don't want to add a summary to the cover sheet and then come back in a couple weeks and have 12 more comments to address. So.
I think Richard's concern, which I don't disagree with, is we're hearing some stirrings about semis turning out from Bronson Lake Drive. But I'll ask Diana to
Well,
review
just to
it.
clarify, this is not Bronson Lake
Is that-
Drive. No, Bronson Lake Drive is to the east of the apartments on the other side of this.
Okay.
This is a north-south. This abuts the western edge of the apartments, which are currently under construction.
Is it the one that CFX is trying to do our drive aisles on the north with
No. Well,
to match it? I think.
my understanding is they had a lot of concerns at the intersection to the east, which has been constructed now.
Yes.
At Bronson Lake Drive and Boy Scout Road, concerns related to their future realignment of the road and how that would work. And we've shared a substantial amount of information. We actually made some adjustments before our retaining walls went in and so forth over the last 2 years.
And just to be clear, CFX, their consultant, is also working with you all to get some info
Yeah,
on the
we-
latest set of plans. So
we've
we're
been trading
trying.
files as
yeah.
of I think last week. We sent our latest files at their request. So we've been open and collaborative with them to help them aid in their design and make sure that over the last, again, we date back 2 years, maybe more, as we've had final construction details for parcel 6 and the other master improvements in the ridge, that they're clear on what's in, what's not in. We've made adjustments on the fly during construction to help accommodate some design things that they're working through, and but we're continuing to move forward as we share that information.
I'll double check with Diana. I know with our CFX meeting, she's had concerns on the CFX side about realignments, so I'll check with her.
Okay.
yeah, and Gene and Bobby, I mean, just sort of as staff can fight our way through this lack of
I know.
people applying for our jobs here. Maybe we ought to have Diana. I think if we paid her out of transportation impact fees to make sure the impact of development doesn't cause some problem, I wouldn't have a problem. I think it'd be a good idea to just have Diana respond to everything that comes to DRC and present her comments, and she could say none if she has none or whatever. I mean, I would agree with that if you want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to miss stuff, and I'm afraid we might be because I'm not looking at it.
no, I agree with you. We've definitely had concerns about transportation, but we're not transportation planners. We
Okay,
don't have any there. So we've definitely included her in all the reviews. But I'll double check with her. Obviously, a lot of things go through her. So I don't know if she missed something or whatever. I usually have like a weekly call with her and update. So I'll bring this up among other things.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
And Gene, if this hasn't been on our radar or she's kind of picking up, we're happy that if she just wants to schedule a call or give me a call and we can talk through it for 10 minutes and
Okay.
give it a lay of the land and understand exactly what's where and help expedite her review.
And you know she'll tell you. So yes, we probably have to do
This is that Diana.
Yes.
Got it.
She'll
yes.
tell you.
Perfect. Yes, you can absolutely have her give me a call.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't make that connection.
Any further questions for the applicant?
No, I just want to reiterate what Richard said because I think there might be concerns. You only show one entrance into the gas station property at this time, and I'm going to assume you're going to probably want to put something out on Binion Road, and I don't know how close that entrance
No,
exit's going to
no,
be
Sorry.
to that roadway.
That's not the case. So the MDP showed there's actually 2 access points to the gas station parcel, both internal to what you see here. So there will be no other connections to Binion Road or Boy Scout beyond what you see. The direction on the MDP, we had a driveway apron turning into the gas station, kind of aligned with the western drive aisle of Building 2. So you would turn right and come in. But and then on the northeast corner of the out parcel, you can still see that we have the roadway stub out. We took off the apron along the main east-west drive there off of Binion, just because we don't have a final site plan or user or tenant purchaser for the gas station parcel. So we don't want to go install a driveway and say, oh, we need it 4 feet this way or that way. So that driveway cut will be made substantially consistent with the MDP at such time as the out parcel comes in for its own permitting, and the city will have the opportunity to review those. But yeah, there's going to be no additional. There's no way they can meet spacing requirements on Binion for an additional driveway cut, either in the existing condition or especially after the CFX improvements to that intersection. We also discussed during the MDP and discussed with CFX that with the CFX project, we understand that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gene, I'm just a little foggy this morning. I believe they have a roundabout that they're designing up in that area, or
At Harmon and Binion.
but as they do that, it may restrict our ability to make a left out because of the turn lanes and lane configuration. We did discuss that MDP and discuss it with consultants, and if users from here maybe have to make a right out, go around the round route, and come back out, we understand that that's the likely outcome of their future improvements. But in the meantime, we've designed this to work in the interim, and based on the information we've shared with CFX, there's no reason for us to believe that there'd be any conflicts or things that would restrict the city's ability or CFX's ability to construct the necessary improvements for that intersection.
Okay, and you brought it up. I just don't know that there'd be enough clearance from the roadway to have an exit for that gas station. So if you don't have any intent of doing that onto Binion, then
No, there will be no future driveway cuts associated with that.
Okay.
There's that out parcel is not large enough, I think, for any measure of traffic calculations or access management separation guidelines to justify another driveway right there.
Okay.
So the MDP again has it. That's going to stick with it, and the gas station will have to be consistent with the MDP, or we'll come back through and revise. Whether it's their consultant or if we have additional information at that time. Anything beyond what I've expressed and committed here and what's been approved by the previous MVPs will have to be brought before the city for review and discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Any further questions? Community development is agreeing with the planning division comments, please.
I don't have anything as long as Richard stated, it's reviewed by somebody for the traffic impact.
And just to be clear, so splitting hairs here, but Chief, I know you like to raise thoughtful comments that relate to maybe some other departments. So in the engineering world, you kind of the distinction between traffic and transportation. Traffic being how many cars are coming where, just global trips. All of that has been addressed with the PD, the Ridge PD dating back several years, right? So that the trips coming in through there. I think that the concern has been raised more of what we call the transportation side, which is, all right, how do we actually get those trips in and out? And yes, we would agree, and we'll work with city staff and city's consultant on any review questions they may have for that, and work through that. But the trips, the global, how many trips are being on the road generated by this development, that has absolutely been addressed with the PD.
Public services. Fire.
No comments.
Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right, thank you. We'll look forward to the resubmittal and coordination of the transportation issues. All right, next item, Laurel Oaks construction site plan. First submittal, Gene Sanchez.
Bobby, this is, you've seen this before, because actually we've had a previous revision to the CSP for Laurel Oaks. This is on Joey, like north of Joey McGuckin, which is in that area where we're supposed to continue Sadler. Um, and it is just north of Winding Meadows as well. This revision is really all utility related. Um, I didn't get any comments, Rich, from Public Services about the changes they're proposing. Really, the approval from DRC just kind of depends on whether or not you need more time to review, or I think Jen reviewed this and she had no comments.
There's no additional comments, but thank you.
Okay. So, and I didn't get any comments from any other DRC members. So with this, I'll go ahead and slate it for approval, for DRC approval for you all.
Okay, is applicant in attendance? All right, we'll go around. No further comments from community development. Police,
I don't have anything. Thank you.
public services,
I don't have anything, thanks.
fire,
No comments, thanks.
building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right. Next item, Crossroads Kelly Park Phase 2A plat, first submittal.
We had received comments from legal and city surveyor for this plat. I'm sorry, Genevieve, it escapes me how many lots you're. I think it's around 59 or something. I thought this is one of the newer, I think this is a newer submittal. So actually we've had a little bit of a technical difficulty in our OpenGov portal, and we're working on it, but the comments are there. You are able to view them. It's just not generating the proper correct comment letter. So I didn't really get any other comments from DRC for this other than the ones from our consultants, our legal counsel, as well as our surveyor. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Gene?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right. Community development has no further questions. Comments, police, no further
Yeah.
questions.
I don't have
Public
anything.
services, fire,
No comments, thanks.
building.
I don't have anything, thank you.
All right. Next item is Pumpkin Oak Manor plat, first submittal. Gene Sanchez.
So this, you've seen the construction site plan for this. It is still under review. In fact, this is an oldie, a little bit of an oldie but goodie. We did receive both legal and city surveyor comments as well. I think we will hold off on taking this to public hearings if all comments are addressed until after a CSP has been approved. I'm not sure how to deal with that considering the new law that's about to take effect in October about platting and building permits. But the CSP for this is still under DRC review. I think there's still some outstanding comments hanging out there and we haven't received a resubmittal yet. So we're just waiting for the applicant to address a lot of our comments for this and the construction site plan.
Is the applicant in attendance? Okay, guess not. Any further questions from DRC?
And Gene, maybe it's a question for the applicant, and I wish they were here. Did I understand correctly that the construction site plan is going to potentially lag behind the approval of the plat?
Yes, technically the CSP, I think if I recall correctly, the construction site plan application and the plat application were submitted concurrently. However, we couldn't go through with the review of the DRC for this plat because they were missing some sufficiency stuff on our end. And we just received, I think it has been like 6 months. We just received this additional information now. The CSP has been on hold. It went through DRC once and we had comments. So I think we're just on a waiting game.
Okay, I don't think it's an issue here, but I guess I'm just thinking about my FEMA floodplain program as we've got a hurricane approaching us and making sure that we've reviewed the construction plans approved first before we do the plat. I think we need to stick with that as much as possible. I realize this one's been delayed. I don't have an issue. There's not
Yeah.
floodplain here as far as I know. I'll make sure I look at that again and I'll let you know today if I find something. That would be the only
Okay.
problem that I would have with the plat going before the
I agree. I
construction plans.
think our code in terms of plat says something like it has to be consistent with our development plan.
Yeah.
So we can't really, it's dependent on the development plan if you want to plat a subdivision. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none. Community development has no further questions. Police,
I don't have anything, thank you.
public services, fire,
No comments, thanks.
building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda, I think we have come to the point of discussion. Any items for discussion? All right. Hearing none, we're adjourned.